Where do I even start? Where do I even start? 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks, 7 threes, 11 for 20 in only 31.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, basketball enthusiasts and onlookers alike, get your popcorn, fasten your seatbelts, and get ready for the most fulfilling dose of immediate retribution the WNBA has seen in years. Since what transpired on Saturday, June 14th, was more than simply a basketball game. Oh no, people, it was a masterclass in retaliation, a symphony of vindication, and a reminder that occasionally the basketball gods can be funnier than a flawlessly executed crossover 8.
Just like that, she's back. Caitlin Clark drops 35 after her 5-game layoff from injury. It was at a point where she scored 9 points in less than 45 seconds. I mean, crossing the half-point line, one dribble, and just pulling it from the logo. Like, these plays are just...
Guess who was driving the charge as the Indiana Fever entered Gainbridge Fieldhouse with the sole goal of giving the unbeaten New York Liberty their first defeat of the year? After missing 5 games due to injury, Caitlin Clark is ready to show everyone why she is the most captivating player in women's basketball.
Well, the Indiana Fever, I'm watching it. It just went final, 102-88 over the league undefeated, now defeated, New York Liberty. New York Liberty, Stephanie White did not.
This wasn't just any game, people. This was personal. The Liberty strode in with their flawless 9-0 record, looking like they ruled the league. Spoiler alert, they were going to get a reality check that would make a tax audit seem like a spa day. This had to do with evening tables that had been skewed for far too long and settling scores.
The Indiana Fever say, come on, New York. Come on. Somebody's got to give you this first L, and I guess it's going to be us. No Jonquel Jones, but the Indiana Fever handled business. 102-88. We finally hit triple digits thanks to CC22.
You see, there was a lot of controversy surrounding the last time these two teams played. On Thanksgiving morning, Natasha Cloud, the Liberty's defensive specialist, stole the ball from Clark in the closing seconds of their previous game, and Clark felt like she had been fouled. A resentment that festered, a call that never came, and a memory that blazed brighter than a phoenix summer.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Caitlin Clark put on the show, dropped 25 in the first half. Then she was diamond here, diamond there. They scored over 100 points first time in the season, and they gave New York Liberty their first L. Take that L, go back to the Hudson River, and go back to New York with that L. You know what I'm saying? And I can't stand Sabrina. I'm going to call her Sabrina, I flop you. Because all she does is flop. I can't stand Sabrina Ionescu. She's a flopping machine. I'm glad she's taking that L today. Caitlin Clark, 32 points, 7 for 14 from 3, that's 50%, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. She almost had a double-double, almost close to a triple.
Please subscribe if you're enjoying it.as her team faltered and the WNBA's ratings fell like a lead balloon. Clark had been watching from the sidelines for 5 lengthy games due to a quad injury. When viewership fell by an astounding 55% without her on the court, the league realized how much they needed its golden goose. It was like to witnessing a popular film franchise attempt to carry on without its star. Though technically feasible, nobody was really interested in seeing it. Then Saturday arrived, and Clark didn't simply come back. Like lightning catching in a fireworks factory, she sprang back into the scene. The woman was on a mission, and the name of Natasha Cloud was permanently inscribed on it.
Caitlin Clark, 9 points in 20 or 38 seconds. Oh my goodness. Came back to back logo threes. For a minute, man, I told the chat, call the cops on Caitlin Clark for logo abuse. Oh my goodness, man, she was killing.
You could sense the energy in the arena from the first tip. As if they were the reigning champs, the Liberty rushed out to an early 176-point lead, moving the ball, making shots, and playing with the assurance of a team that had forgotten what it was like to lose. It briefly appeared as though Clark's comeback would be more of a footnote than a headline. However, something extraordinary occurred with little over 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Clark made a 3-point shot, and you could see the spark light up in her eyes.
The Indiana Fever. That is Fever basketball at its finest. Fever ball at its finest. As a team, by the way, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The least turnovers the Fever have had in a game as a team.
The following events were nothing less than real-time basketball poetry. Clark made 3 consecutive three-pointers in 38 seconds at range that would have even NASA envious. 33, 27, and 31 feet. Each one only finds the net. The game was abruptly knotted at 24 as the arena exploded like Mount Vesuvius. Folks, this was more than just basketball. The woman was shooting from a distance that required a GPS system, and each shot was dropping like autumn leaves in October as Clark announced to the world that she was back, that her injuries hadn't diminished her edge, and that she had some unfinished business to attend to.
3 threes in 38 seconds in the first half. Caitlin Clark hit 3 logo bombs, by the way. 3 logo bombs in 38 seconds. This was the Caitlin Clark we all said, oh, she's different. She's sent from outer space. The Caitlin Clark that we saw today was the Caitlin Clark that we were accustomed.
Clark had scored 25 points on 6 three-pointers by the half, which was the most she had ever scored in one half of her professional career. You could see the worry edging into the Liberty's eyes like somber shadows as the Fever maintained a 5,350 advantage. They had not written this script for their ideal season. The Liberty made a last-ditch effort in the third quarter, starting with a 9-run surge that momentarily gave them hope again, but Clark and the Fever answered with a basketball equivalent of a nuclear weapon. The Liberty appeared to require a map to locate the basket after a 190 run. Clark had a response each time New York attempted to make a comeback. Like a magician with an unending supply of rabbits, she would pull another three-pointer out of her bag of tricks every time they believed they had her figured out.
For one of the best and most elite performances we have ever seen from Caitlin Clark. Now, I got to remind everybody about this. Caitlin Clark is coming off an injury, bro. What we seen today was greatness. This was similar to the Michael Jordan flu game. I mean, it's up there type deal, bro. Caitlin Clark just handed the New York Liberty the ass whooping of a lifetime. And what's crazy about all of this is that the referees couldn't even save them. See, last time the referees was able to save New York and they walked away with the victory. The game was so far out of reach, the referees had to just...
During it all, Natasha Cloud was there to protect the unguardable by using a basketball as an umbrella in a cyclone to try to stop a natural force. People, the irony was exquisite. The player who had dashed Clark's aspirations during their most recent encounter was now passively observing as Clark methodically destroyed her team's undefeated record. Clark finished with 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and 7 three-pointers, tying her career high for made threes, as the scoreboard read 88 as the final buzzer sounded. However, given that they were just given a portion of the story, the numbers are astounding. There was more to this than just statistics. This concerned creating statements, settling scores, and giving reminders. With 17 made three-pointers on 48.6% shooting from beyond the arc, the Fever had set a franchise record. They had dealt the formidable Liberty its first defeat and had reached triple digits for the first time this season, but more significantly, they had done so with Clark spearheading the attack like a general ordering her soldiers into combat.
I'm glad that New York got that L. They should have got the L the other game. Now they just got what they deserve. Okay, but Caitlin Clark went off. I'm happy. That is what people pay to see. You see the difference when Caitlin Clark is on the floor? She makes the whole offense way better. The offense is better. They're clicking. They're getting to their spot.
For the sake of Liberty, this defeat wasn't merely a standings figure. It came with a side of humble pie and a reality check wrapped in humility. Brianna Stewart contributed 24 points, and Sabrina Ionescu tried her hardest to stay up with her score of 34. However, it was unable to halt the Clark tornado that ravaged Indianapolis. They came into the game as the WNBA's final undefeated squad, and they departed with their confidence rattled and their pristine record in ruins. However, let's discuss the point guard on the floor, or even the elephant in the room. Only a few weeks prior, Natasha Cloud, the player who had been so sure of her defensive abilities, was the victim of one of the most dominant individual performances in recent WNBA history. It appears that the basketball gods are humorous, and they had determined that this was Caitlin Clark's chance for atonement.
Natasha Cloud's Linsanity run is over. As I said, her player of the week, the player of the week curse, we saw it happen to Kelsey Mitchell as well till the end of that game where she was so clutch. But her Linsanity runs over. I got a DM from somebody going, Natasha Cloud's great. What are you talking about her Linsanity run? I'm like, was there a Linsanity run? I was like, she can play defense. Not a great offensive player. Forget the referees. The referees. This was apparently a foul. This was apparently a foul on Lexi Hull. And there were so many of them throughout the game. Brianna Stewart shot 14 free throws. Stewie shot 14. Half of them
The allure of sports is that they offer a platform for these kinds of stories to be told. Here was Clark coming back from his injury with evidence. Competing against the player who had previously denied her a chance to win the game, she not only demonstrated her argument, but she did so in the strongest manner imaginable by outperforming every player on the field and guiding her squad to victory over the top team in the league. This game's repercussions go well beyond the score at the finish. Executives could only imagine how much interest in the WNBA has increased since Clark's return. Highlights burst on social media. Future Fever game ticket costs have increased by up to 366%. Abruptly, the topic of women's basketball came up once more. The WNBA commissioner herself served as a reminder to the league, which had seen its ratings plummet during Clark's absence, of why she is regarded as the most popular athlete in America.